My wife and I in Australia were together for 22 years. Now, for me, 20 of them were fine.
What do you love about Gary?
As a man in the West who has probably been through hell in the latter part of his relationship with his Western wife, I've always had a love for Pattaya. It gets a really bad rap in the Western media. We're 20 years apart, so my will is set up in a way that she will be taken care of. And
it's a tough one. So reporting from a rainy day here in Buriram, I'm going to be chatting today with Gary and Bo. They're going to be showing me around their place here in Buriram. They're practically my neighbours, to be honest. Gary's son goes to the same school as Otis goes to, my son. And so we kind of met in the schoolyard there, and he kindly said he would show me around his place, having watched the channel and been watching this series where I'm talking to different expats around Thailand, asking them about their lifestyles here, their plans here, and more so seeing what they built and how they're living here. It's been a real mix, as you've seen on the channel. Some people are living in pool villas, some people are living in traditional Thai houses, some people are building businesses here. It looks like Gary is situated in a beautiful little rural, and I mean rural, even more rural than my village. This place, just driving through now, this is the first time I've been here myself, but it's even more rural than where I am, and very, very quaint little quiet, today rainy village. So let's go and have a chat with Gary and Bo and have a look around their place. All right, so Gary, originally you're from Australia, right?
I am.
How long have you been here in Thailand? Have you always been in this house, or?
Well, in order to answer that question, we probably have to rewind a little bit further. So I was originally born in England, and in 1988 we were sitting in a bar. A friend of mine said, Gaz, let's go to Australia. And at the time, American culture was everywhere in the UK. And I said to him, no, let's go to America. And he said, no. And we went back and forwards for quite a few months, and eventually one day in a little bar in Egham in Surrey, we sitting there, he came to me with a coin. Heads we go to Australia, tails we go to America, and so blessed that he actually won, and we went to Australia in March 1988. So Australia I still call home. It's somewhere that has given me an enormous amount of life satisfaction. I have 4 beautiful children, 2 grandchildren. Whilst I was in Australia, I had a chain of mechanic shops which covered all around the Brisbane area. And life was very good up until that divorce. And I think that's probably a typical thing for somebody in that category. And I sat at home and felt a little bit sorry for myself for quite a long time. And then one day a friend of mine said, hey, listen, there's a group of us dads going to Thailand in November. Did you want to come with us? And I jumped at the opportunity.
So just before we see the rest of Gary's place, I'd like to mention the sponsors of today's vlog, Surfshark VPN. Did you know that when you're surfing the internet, there are companies and websites that are actively trying to get your information and data? And Surfshark provides ample security to make sure they're not able to do that. But more than just protecting your cybersecurity online, Surfshark has a number of other useful features, such as blocking ads or trackers. Or if, like me, you travel a lot and connect to many different Wi-Fis in different hotels and airports, Surfshark has an alert system to let you know if your Wi-Fi has been compromised. Don't forget you can use it on all of your different devices, whether it's Android, Mac or PC. And to be honest, the thing that I use it most for myself is to make sure that I'm not being subject to price discrimination. Change your location in the top right-hand corner to make sure you're getting the best price available on the internet. Don't forget, Surfshark VPN can also be used to access platforms that would otherwise be restricted. You can change your location in the top right hand corner and get access to things like Channel 4 and BBC iPlayer. What's more is if you're bored of your Netflix libraries, you can change the location the same way and get access to different libraries from all around the world. Surfshark have kindly given me an offer to give to you. It's going to get you 4 months extra. You can go to www.surfshark.com/nakedguru or use code word nakedguru at the checkout. The links for that are below in the pinned comment and the description, and it's a money back guarantee, so if it doesn't work out for you, you just get your money back?
So originally it was going to be no more than just a boys' holiday, a little bit of golf, a little bit of sort of sightseeing, and we came over, and it was probably the elixir that life needed at that time. It was something that it got me out of where I was in that point in time, and we went around. We went to Hua Hin, we went to Bangkok, we went to Pattaya, and we went to a few islands. And then towards the end of the trip was when the romance started. I met my now wife, and she was a breakfast waitress at the hotel we were staying, and I asked her out on a date, and luckily she said yes, and we only spent maybe 3-4 days together, but we just felt this connection after just 3-4 days, and I ended up going back to Australia. My heart was left in Thailand, which I know happens to everybody, but we ended up coming. I came back in the December, and we spent some time together, and now here we are living in Non Tayao, and we have a 10-year-old son, Harrison, and life is good.
And how long have you been together?
I think it's around 12 years. So
it's lasted long term.
It has. I think there's this perception out there that holiday romances are doomed and there's no chance of any success. There's plenty of YouTube channels that will tell you that the Thai women are the worst under the sun. You know, they only want your money. They only want to bleed you dry. Mm-hmm. But you couldn't be further from the truth. And that's one of the things I love about your channel, is that you have this ability to genuinely speak to the real people who are in loving relationships, people who don't listen. So there's a couple of YouTubers out there. I think there's Thai Talk with Dan, and then there's Thailand Bound. They've made a great living for themselves telling the negative story, and that's one of the things I just adore about your channel, is that you actually talk to the real people. And I have friends in Australia and here with Thai wives who are just living the most perfect life. And you know, if you genuinely are looking for love and you are vulnerable, you will get taken. It's the stories are out there. It
happens.
It surely does. You read these stories, you hear these stories, but I think 90% of the people who are in committed relationships are in fact enjoying life.
Yeah, and did you end up selling your business back in Australia? Did you sell up, or you still have those businesses there?
Yeah, so we sold everything. I looked at what we had in Australia, and we worked out that if we converted everything and we made some good smart investments, that we could live a great comfortable life here in Thailand. So I'm sort of I know budgets are a big thing that people want to talk about, and somebody says, well, my friend does it for this and my friend does it for that. So for us, we've set up our finances in a way that the money that we have on a weekly and monthly basis pays for all of our overheads and allows us a beautiful, great quality of life, which varies greatly, because if we are in the village, we may only spend 40,000 baht a month. However, one of the things that we do is that we travel. Mm-hmm. So we've been to Chiang Mai, we've been to Koh Chang, we've been to Koh Lan, we've been to Koh Samet, we've been to Pattaya, we've been to Bangkok. So every sort of 7-8 weeks we like to travel, and traveling obviously at that point there takes the budget higher. So in those circumstances, maybe the budget would double in those weeks and months that we're away from home.
So you've got quite a good grasp of your budget there and what you spend. Sometimes I put people on the spot and ask them. Yeah. So good. I'm glad that you prepared it, because it's one of the questions that everybody asks when they're watching these videos, because a lot of them are thinking about making the move themselves. So the first thing they ask themselves is, can I afford it? And that's why I ask everybody I meet, what's your cost of living?
The way we set up our money is that we have have around 100,000 baht a month coming in. Now, that's not for our budget for living expenses. You know, living in the village, there's very little you can spend the money on. You know, I got a haircut because I knew you were coming, and that was 60 baht for a haircut. You know, we'll go and have lunch at a little noodle shop, and 40, 50 baht provides us with lunch. So it's very, very little outgoings when you're living here. However, you start going to Bangkok or you go to Pattaya or Hua Hin, everything doubles in price. With regards to budget, we tend to just sort of juggle our family budget around travel and home improvements. So when my wife, about 25 years ago, her mother and father separated, and the mother was very smart at the time. The father had a few farms out on the outskirts of the village, and he also had a few home plots here in Non Tao. And she wouldn't sign the divorce papers unless he signed over some land to the children.
Okay.
So that's how my wife ended up with this plot of land here. And there was an old grey rectangle house that had a red roof, and we would come and visit. So we've been coming back here probably for the last 10, 11 years. And we never saw it as anything more than a crash pad. So it was just the place that we would come and stay. And when I retired, obviously you can't live in a crash pad and have a happy life. So for us, it was get the house in a better state, better condition. And so we extended, we put in air conditioning, and we started designing things around. So we now have a parents' retreat that has an ensuite. It has like a walk-in robe, and we have not regretted one of our decisions. It was a great building process. We were lucky. We picked the builders, and they fulfilled on everything they promised.
You know all of my questions. I'm going to have nothing to ask here.
It's because I follow your channel. I didn't want to get caught with my pants down, and because you've interviewed some really, really good people who are primary producers. They have resorts on islands. They're running bed and breakfast. They've got coffee shops. But I think what we are doing here is probably more in tune to a retiree. I think that as a retiree coming that doesn't want to become a captain of industry, doesn't want to do that sort of like entrepreneurship, I think that it's important that we show you around our place and an opportunity to see what we do here. And it's nothing amazing. We garden, we bake, we paint, we draw, we do just the basic things. And I think that if we can share those with your followers.
Perfect. How many rai is it here in total, Gary?
So we have 2,000 square metres. So the land goes up to the car, but then at the end of that wall turns right. So it's an L-shaped block. So we have around about 500 square metres of what looks like overgrown area, because it is. But that is about 500 square metres, and we utilise the rest of the land here, just garden-wise. We've sort of held off doing anything because we don't have a clear mind as what we want there. Originally we said, we're going to put a pool in. Originally that was the original thing, put in the pool. And then we thought, well, maybe we'll plant some trees in there. But I think this area here has taken over most of our gardening time.
Sawadee krap, Kun Bo. Hello, how are you, Bo? You like to do the garden here?
Yeah, we enjoy doing it and make the land and looking beautiful, because it's our favorite here. In the morning, sit, have coffee and look at our gardening.
Looks beautiful, Bo.
Thank you.
Bo, what do you like about living here in the village? It's a very quiet, small village. What do you like about it?
It's close to family. And it's in your own home, and you feel like relaxed. Yeah, more relaxed, easy.
And do you think Gary likes it here? You think he can do it? Because not many Farang can stay in the quiet area. No, they need the city. Yeah. Gary, he likes it here? Or?
Yeah. Usually our plan with we thought, oh, we might have to live somewhere in the big town, big city, and then maybe travel to Buriram for a couple months and then go back. But since we live here for 1 year, and then I think Gary love it, so I think he's happy and quiet here.
It's interesting you ask that question. We had a very, very organised plan. So the original plan was to modernise, improve and repair the house. And then we were going to buy a condo in Pratamak or Jontiem and share our time between the two. And since we've been living here, I've just fallen in love with village life. It is so peaceful, it is so at one with nature, and it's something that if you would ask 50-year-old Gary about, well, what do you reckon? 50-year-old Gary couldn't have done what I'm doing now. I think that you have to be at a certain point in your life, not necessarily old and past, but you need to be in a certain place in your life to enjoy what is available to you here on your doorstep. So I've always had a love for Pattaya. It gets a really bad rap in the Western media, but Pattaya is one of those places that, depending on how hard you scratch the surface, you will find what you expect. When we lived in Australia, Bo and I and Harry, we lived in Australia for 4 or 5 years, and we would come to Thailand maybe twice a year, and in that twice a year, we would spend 4 or 5 nights in Pattaya. We would come to the house for 4 or 5 nights, and then we would go off on an adventure. We'd go find a new island or fly somewhere or do something, and that pretty much was us 2 times a year until we got to this point where we were living in Brisbane, and we would always talk about our future. We would talk about what we're going to do in the future. So in the future, we're going to go and live in Thailand. In the future, we're going to do this. And then one day, I just said to Bo, I said, we've been talking about this for a couple of years now. What day is the future? When will we know when the future is here? So we made ourselves homeless. We sold our home. We sold all of our assets. We put everything that we had to work, and that money now generates us with a steady income that we then use for creating a nice home and moving to the village.
And how old are you now, Gary? You said 50-year-old Gary. How old are you now?
I had my 60th birthday just there.
So 60 now. And let me ask Bo. Bo, did you enjoy living in Australia?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Do you not miss it now, or?
Mrs. I'm not sure because I have my husband here and also our son is with art. So maybe Mrs. Our other Gary, our other family, and maybe a couple friends that I met in Australia. Yeah.
But happy to be back in Thailand.
Very happy. We have a good life.
Great.
It's good,
We do have a good life. Yeah. And it's because it seemed when you're living in the West, you go to the letterbox and all you're doing is opening bills. So you're getting a bill for the rates, a bill for the electricity, a bill for the gas, you're getting a bill for the insurance. And you go to the shops and you come home after $100 with maybe enough to buy dinner for that night. So it seemed as though we were just sort of on this treadmill, and all we were doing was looking forward to our next Thailand holiday. And an opportunity came up where we could liquidate everything we had, and we took it and grasped it, and here we are. So what we've created here is perfect for us, and I know other people who've been on your channel have created things that are much bigger, but I think as a representation for guys who are thinking about coming to Thailand, who have that sort of at the back of their mind, shall I, shan't I, I'm not sure, is it right for me? Do it, because you won't regret it. If you're running away from something, if you have a bad relationship, if you had a bad business experience, if you have problems with relationships that don't work, it's probably not going to work for you here in Thailand. I think it's important that if you come with a willingness to embrace and not to change things. It's one of the things I learned very early. You'll not change things while you're here. Thai culture is so strong. you've just got to go with the flow. And if it doesn't happen in the morning, it will happen in the afternoon. If it's sort of
it'll get done eventually.
Yeah, you know.
One of my first impressions of your place as well is you're living very Thai-esque. We lived in bamboo huts for a number of years on our land. It was about 1.5 years, nearly 2 years. And I got to say, I really enjoyed it. I may have even found it preferable to living the way we live now in the small cottage. There are many, many ways you can live here in Thailand, and you don't necessarily need a huge amount of cash to start up and build a villa and whatnot. Yeah. What have you actually done to the place to develop it?
So originally it was a grey rectangle box, and what we've done is we've created, everywhere you see grey concrete running around the side, this is all new. This roof structure that runs from here to the parents' retreat and further out towards the back where I built myself a little shed. That was my main indulgence, was built.
This is your man cave?
It is, yeah. I retreat to my man cave and I contemplate everything that's happening in my life. I come back out of my man cave and I'm ready to go again. So we built the carport, we've built everything that we're going to show you inside the house very shortly, and this whole new roof structure. So we're not finished. We're probably 60% of the way through where we expect ourselves to be finally. So after my sons have visited next month, we've got 60 square metres of tiles, which we've planned to put down on all of this grey area. We're going to line the ceiling with some downlights. But for me, the most important job is the concrete. So currently, because it's wet season, and I know you'll experience the same, the clay soil here is very difficult to work with. So we put adjustments down. We've put a lot of gypsum into the soil, but it's still not quite getting us there. So we're going to concrete under the carport and then make a driveway which will take us all the way through to the front road again. This roof area will get lined, and we've got some downlights and everything which will illuminate here. Originally when we came, there was probably about 10 square metres of undercover area. So this room here that we've just gone past, this is Harry's room. So it was important to us to give him everything that we enjoy. So he's got his air conditioner, he's got his TV. We got memories for him up on the room, up on the wall there with his.
You like Spider-Man, like Otis?
He certainly does. You only got to look at that bed sheet there. So he's got a really great personality. He's one of these kids that you adapts really quickly, but I'm always conscious about what I'm doing shouldn't just be about me. It's I've really got to consider how it impacts on Harry. Harry was living this great life as a 6, 7, 8-year-old in Australia. And he never worried about having to learn a new language. He had a great group of friends. And I've taken him away from all of those comforts, and now not only has he had to learn a new language, he's had to learn a new culture, and he's had to become more resilient to life in general. So I'm confident that he'll come through and everything will be fine. But you know, what I choose to do impacts him greatly, and I'm always conscious about how it impacts on him and where he's going to be. So what we're doing now is, originally we planned to head back to Australia in January 2029, ready for Harry to start high school. But we've had a family talk in the last few months, and we're not going to do that now. We're going to head back to Australia probably when Harry's ready for grade 10, 11, 12. So we have quite a few more years ahead of us before we're going to head back. And that way, because I don't feel the opportunities are really there for Harry to become something outside of maybe the farming community, or the opportunities are going to be much greater for him living in Australia, in a Western country. So.
And how do you feel about that, though? Because it means that your later years are going to be in Australia, where you necessarily don't want to be, right?
Yeah, I feel this sabbatical has probably given me more than I could have expected. So we haven't cut all ties with Australia. We still have property and we have investments, and we have a great opportunity to go back. So when we go back, we're not going to be a burden on the welfare system. We have opportunities to set ourselves back up again. But we enjoy what we have here today, and we'll go back. And really, it's the three of us. It's not all Gary, it's the three of us that need to make those decisions. Come on through. This is our parents' retreat. So everything that you're about to walk into was part of our initial build. So we had the house. The original builders gave us a price of 240,000 baht to build this parents' retreat and put this 22 meters of roof on this area. And that was stage one. So we ended up with rendered walls. We ended up with everything, the brickwork, the roof, the rendered walls. And we've probably spent another 120,000 baht just fitting out with tiles and vanities and toilets and decoration. This is our bedroom here.
Okay, so you've insulated as well for the air conditioning.
So we got air conditioning, we got insulation. We intentionally didn't put any windows down that side because that's east facing. So we would end up, as the sun rose, it would put too much heat into the room. So with the insulation and with the air conditioner, we really don't feel the temperature here. It's wonderful the way that it's all worked out for us.
So this is the ensuite area here.
We did drawings for the builders. We would have chats in the morning with the builders, and it was just a seamless process. I think anybody who tries to build, one of the most important things is to be able to be here. So I bake bread, I bake apple turnovers and sausage rolls and things. And so every morning we would have morning tea with the builders, and it became like a really nice little ritual. We would sit down, we'd have coffee, and they pretty much put their orders in the day before. Some preferred the sweet, some preferred the savoury, so we had various requests.
You make pies as well?
Well, I heard that you are partial to a pie. A little birdie told me the other day, and I've made you some sausage rolls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, that's a lovely treat. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, I appreciate that.
This is so I made these for you.
So these are the sausage rolls. Get a look at these guys.
Yeah. So I made these for you. These are gonna.
That's a lot there.
You can
Gary.
take some home for Camo and the kids. And,
yeah, they look delicious.
Yeah. So this is our guest toilet and shower. There's no decoration or money been spent in there.
That's just a Thai style.
It is, yeah. So when we have Thai family come visit us, they use those facilities.
And this is the main living area here. Have the dining table, and then sofa over here. Do you spend much time in here, Gary? Because what I find is you're either in bed or you're outside in Thailand. You're out in the garden.
Same experience. We sit just there. So in the morning, I sit, have my coffee. School kids will go to school. They'll give me a little wave as they go through. The probably 4 hours in the morning, I'll sit there, and then we'll head off. Maybe we'll go find something to do in a little coffee shop around the corner, or find some lunch somewhere.
Now, one thing I do notice is most Farang, when they come into a place, they will paint it white. You've either kept or chosen the blue. And was there a reason for that? Or?
Yeah, because I originally bought a 20-litre bucket of blue for the outside, and then I didn't like it. And so I said to my wife, I said, I'm not going to throw this away. Let's just put it on the walls in here. And it actually, because it's darker in here than outside, it actually works quite well. So inside and outside may look blue, but that's actually more of a grey blue outside.
So that you've gone very much the Thai way. This is the Thai way.
I know, and I tried to explain to my Australian children, it is not unusual to drive past a purple house or a lime green house or a peppermint coloured house. It's just a Thai style, that vibrant colour.
Yeah.
So this wasn't a planned thing, but it was a practical thing. So I didn't want to throw the paint away. So we've ended up with this colour blue, similar to outside, but it's a shade different.
And are you going to go ahead with a pool or not?
If you'd have asked me a year ago, 100%. Yeah. We had a pool at our old house in Australia, but I think it's just the ongoing not being here for weeks at a time. Swimming pools can deteriorate quite quickly. Yeah. So I think the running costs plus the not being here has sort of sent me back a little bit as far as thoughts of. But if we get a pool in at your place, we're happy to come for a swim.
I've been back and forward with it again and again, and it always kind of works out. It's probably not worth it. If you wanted like something to cool off in, perhaps a small jacuzzi, or, because in the summer months, you do need a bit of water to cool off in. So maybe a jacuzzi is better, but a full-size pool, the energy costs, the maintenance costs. I have a lot of subscribers with pools as well that have said, Ryan, don't bother, especially if you're not like a keen swimmer, you're not guaranteed to use it every day, which I know for me, I've lived in places with pools before and I stayed long-term in villas with pools. I've never used the pool. Maybe once a week I'd jump in at the weekend or something.
That initial, we've got a pool, let's all use the pool. It's a little bit like owning a boat or a Harley Davidson. The first couple of weeks of the month, jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. But by the end of that 6-month period, it's just that annoying hole in the ground that just takes all the money from maintenance and just money for running costs and the money for product to keep it looking clean.
Bo, how do you feel about going back to Australia? If you had to go back, how do you feel about it?
I think it's an opportunity good for our son. I think so we have to think about him. So I think I will be fine. I was lived there for permanently for like 4 years. I was moved there permanently just 2019, just before COVID hit. So for 4 years. So I think I will be okay to go back.
And do you not miss working in the hotels?
The life now is quite enjoying being a mother, be a wife. So and we do things together, like we like a twin.
Spend all time together.
So we go. So I quite enjoy it. So supposedly maybe I thinking about work when I go back to Australia.
What do you love about Gary?
Because Gary is a kind person, nice. He always thinking about someone out first. If someone have a problem, have trouble, and he always find solution. He's kind. He nice. He kind, and he is good husband and a good father.
Perfect. That's a win, right? And I always ask the same question, Gary. What do you love about Bo?
I should have prepped for this test. I think one of the things I love about my wife is we all have a default setting. So when you meet somebody, you can fake happiness, you can fake kindness, you can fake enthusiasm. But after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we all revert back to our default setting. Mm-hmm. And my wife is the person I met 12 years ago, and she's never changed. She has always had such a passion to be a kind, caring, considerate individual, and I love her.
I love you too.
That's lovely. So it's something we often don't think about when we live day to day with our partner. So when you ask the question on the spot, it's something you don't think about, and then when you do think about it, things become a bit clearer, don't they? It's because you like you say, you're on default setting day to day in life, and sometimes these things you're not thinking of don't occur to you. But
so for me, which is I'm very passionate about, is that what we have done here. My wife has no plan to retire in Australia. So my time on this planet, maybe the next 15, 20 years if I'm lucky, we have had an opportunity to build this house together. We've chosen tiles, paint colour, layout for gardens, design roofs, put our hearts together to create something special. And after I'm gone, my wife will have those memories of the decisions we made together. I think that doing this now is an opportunity. If we hadn't had this time here, I'm sure she would have retired back to the home. My will is set up in a way that she will be taken care of, and Harrison and my other Australian children. But she wouldn't have had the memories of the decision-making process into why we chose that tile and the way the roof hangs over this area and the design factors of the carport and different things. So
I think the age gap is not so big though, right? And it is a common thing in Thailand that there is an age gap, even in a lot of Thai relationships, and it's something that it's commented on the channel as well. What is the age gap? And
so we're 20 years apart. Yeah. So it's one of the reasons Pattaya gets a pretty bad rap. And if you as a journalist decide I'm going there to do an expose on somebody who is dating somebody 40 years younger, you will get the footage for sure. But what they fail over and over again is they fail to show the guys maybe in their 60s with a 40-year-old wife in a kind, loving relationship. Yes, you'll find guys walking around town with a 20-year-old girl on his arm that looks not quite correct, but the kind, loving, long-term relationships are there for all to see. So it's sensationalism from some journalists in the West who plague Pattaya with a bad rep, and it's just not true. I think that the Thai women are feminine, they're kind-hearted, they're very family-orientated. And as a man in the West who has probably been through hell in the latter part of his relationship with his Western wife, when he comes to Pattaya or he comes to Thailand, he can come with his guard down and not see warning signs. So sometimes, as you've said on your channel, take it slowly. You know, we've been together for 11, 12 years, and that's a proper amount of time. You know, you hear these horror stories, and they are out there, but these are normally caused by the guy jumping in too soon, not looking at the potential partner as it's just he falls in love with being in love, and an opportunity to have somebody who is sort of showing that, because the Thai bar girls are chameleons. So if you as a customer, you say, oh, I'd like to go to the movies tomorrow, the girl goes, oh, movies, fantastic. I'd like to stay out till 3 a.m. and go to, oh, perfect. And, you know, you'd like to walk along the beach holding hands. So the girls will connect with you in a way in which, you know, you've probably not experienced for decades in your life back in the West. And, you know, it's very easy to make mistakes. So if I can tell young Australian, American, English, European guys, take it slowly. Just have a deep breath and say to yourself, are there any red flags? Do I really need to support this person financially when they're asking for money? And if you are, it's probably not the right relationship for you. So
what I see is some people have to kind of restart their whole life when they come to Thailand, because often the Thai lady will want to have children, just like anybody else. You know, many women want to have children. And so this kind of, they're restarting, but they're restarting quite late in the game. Yeah. And then they're left with kind of the ethical considerations of how long have I got left with my kids? Yeah. How long have I got left with my partner to support and that kind of thing? So how do you deal with that? I mean,
so when I separated, my wife and I in Australia were together for 22 years. Now for me, 20 of them were fine, no problem at all. It was probably the last couple of years that were difficult. And when she left, whilst they were all late teenagers, early 20s, they all left with her. So that left me quite vulnerable and feeling like financially it was okay, but just that feeling of loss. You know, you would walk around this 5-bedroom house turning on TVs just for some sound and some way to sort of dull the pain. And I can't remember what the rest of it was.
And then you were restarting life, really. You're starting again quite late on in the game because you've just lost everything.
And so when Bo and I got together, the thought of becoming a dad again at age 49, I was up for it. I loved being a dad. I loved the running the kids around, doing things. And if you ask my 4 Australian children, my dad style is completely different. So Harry and I are more like friends than we are like father and son. So we hang out. So we don't have a real strong father-son disciplinary, this is the disciplinarian in our family. So she'll keep us both in line and make sure that, Harry and I, Harry's got this wonderful sense of humour, which he brings out on multiple occasions. And that opportunity to be a dad again was something that has kept me young as well. I feel younger for having Harry in my life. I see friends who are now having same relationships with grandchildren, but I'm getting to have them with my son.
It sounds like you caught it just in time though as well. It's not, you didn't have Harry when you were 65. You've got most of the good years together before, as you know, your older sons kind of go off and do their life, don't they?
Yeah. So my wife would have 10 more children tomorrow. She has said, one more. But personally,
is that true, Bo?
I think to have a little girl would be nice.
So, but for me, there would be that nappy changing process. Well, she says, you wouldn't have to, but I don't think I could deal with a newborn at age 60. So when I was 50, couldn't be happier. But you are right. I think that, I caught it just in time to create a relationship with Harrison that is... It will span his whole life, the memories he will have. We talk about the fact that I won't be around forever, and
it's a tough one for me. Even for me at my age, it's a tough one.
That won't kick me in the balls. Yeah.
Take a moment. So, I think thanks for sharing on that one as well, Gary. I appreciate it. Like, it's quite personal. I come in here with a camera and ask these questions. It's a personal thing, so thanks for sharing. But overall, it seems like you've really integrated well here. You're enjoying this phase of your life, being both a dad and a husband and an expat, and integrating into I don't want to say the real Thailand, because I don't say real Thailand, I say rural Thailand. Some people think I'm saying real Thailand, but I mean in a aspect, a certain culture of Thailand where it's quite deep, the culture, and you're away from your usual amenities and your usual lifestyle. You seem to have taken to it quite well and are enjoying it very much, right?
Yeah, so as I said to you before, it really is about the timing. So 50-year-old Gary wouldn't have absorbed the culture as much as I have as 60-year-old Gary. And, I live this life. I feel very blessed of the way my life has unfolded. And this is a little chapter which I definitely won't regret. So when we go back to Australia and we're sort of back, Harry's finishing high school, after that, we'll have to reevaluate and know that the memories that we made here will always be here, and maybe it will be time for us to come back.
Oh, you'll be back.
Oh, for sure. Well, the day I open my first electricity bill in Australia, I'll be on the next plane. So I guarantee you, the cost of living is a real draw card, because you're not living and surviving, you're actually living and enjoying.
And so, as a final remark, do you have any advice for anybody thinking about making the move? Maybe they're even ready to do it now, but they just think it's not time. Like you say, they're always looking and saying, in the future we'll do it, but we don't know when the future really comes, do we?
Yeah, I would say, and as you have mentioned on your channel, take it slowly. Don't be in a huge hurry. If the warning signs are there with a potential partner, pull back and just look at it and say, would you accept this as a relationship in your own country? And, definitely the opportunities are there. So you don't have to go to the bar areas around Pattaya. There's so many beautiful single Thai women in, maybe working at the hospital, working at the university, working in government jobs. So sometimes, you've got to work a little bit harder to find them, but maybe the rewards are definitely there as well.
Gary and Bo, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for inviting me here. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks, guys. So it's become a bit of a tradition to do some final thoughts after we have these walk-arounds with expats. I've just come to pick up Otis from school. So I always find a cafe to do this sort of thing. I'd say that Gary seems like he's having the time of his life. Seems like he's really settling in. And his story is really a story that you hear quite a lot. From both men and women, believe it or not. I have some women friends in similar situations, but they've gone through a divorce somewhere in the West, in whatever country, Australia, UK, USA, and they've had to kind of start a new life again. I mean, it happens to a lot of folks, right? I think, don't they say now in certain countries, such as the UK, 70% of marriages end in divorce. So it's like a common story. Some people choose to restart in their home countries. Some people never restart at all. And some people decide to come to Thailand, they find new love. And so I think his story is very much one of starting again a little bit later in life. Also having children again. His children are important to him, as you can see in today's vlog, where he got quite emotional. And sometimes that happens on camera. Sometimes when I meet people and I walk into their homes, it's not just they show me around their homes and tell me about their life, but sometimes it allows them to reflect on their life maybe in ways that they wouldn't otherwise, somebody asking them certain questions. We don't go that deep in our day-to-day life, right? We drink our coffee and do our work and watch a movie or something, go to bed. We're not thinking about the profound questions of why we love our partner, or what our kids mean to us, or what it would mean to get old as our kids age as well. And I think some other things that we've covered in this particular vlog is that you can live quite modestly and quite happily here in Thailand. As people know that have followed my other channel, we lived in bamboo huts for a while and we were completely fine and happy. And today, Gary and Bo, you have them living in a very traditional Thai house, smack bang in the middle of a Thai village. You saw the village, it's quite remote. It's quite, there's nothing around. There's not even like a 7-Eleven around. I didn't even see any mama papa shops. I'm sure there is one, but I didn't see any papa mama shops there. In a very Thai house, can be completely happy to do it, dress it up how they like it. And they haven't broke the bank investing in a huge construction. We just got our coffee here. Can't come back out. And so I also think in this series, another thing Gary touched upon, something that I've tried to do with Naked Guru, is to take like a little bit of a different angle. I'll talk about the dark sides of living in Thailand and some of the dark sides of the village. I've got some stories on that coming up actually. But also, my other angle has been to really kind of showcase success stories. I could probably find you a lot more unsuccessful stories, certainly a lot more sensational unsuccessful stories, and maybe I will in the future, but my focus of the channel really has been success stories here, and showing it's born of having a lot of comments on the channel about me, like, oh, look at this idiot, he's built in Thailand, or he's married this girl and it's all going to fall apart and stuff like that. Showing you these success stories is kind of showing you the other side, that many people can live for decades. I've been with my wife for 12 years. A lot of people I show on this channel have been together a long time, and it's just showcasing that you can have very long-term successful relationships with Western dudes and Thai women, or vice versa, Thai men and Western women. It does happen. There's a lot of channels that are dedicated to that as well. And so a lot of this content has been really kind of focusing on those success stories and showing that they are certainly possible. They usually occur under different circumstances as well, though. Like, it's usually people that know Thailand quite well, quite streetwise people, know how to set up the situation. If you need any more details of that, you can check out the FAQ down in the pinned comment and the description. I answer all the questions in regard to me and how I mitigate and how I manage, and not falling trap to the same old story that we hear on YouTube all the time. But it's been a pleasure to do these success stories, and it's also been a pleasure to meet the people along the way. A lot of them are classed as friends now, and I'll probably see them again socially. We may even check in on a few of them in a year or in 2 years to see how things are still going. And I really appreciate everyone that's come along on this channel and been following this journey, of coming along with me and meeting all these folks. It's actually your viewership that allows me to continue to do it. If I didn't have the viewership and you guys weren't coming along and joining in and commenting and leaving your feedback, then I probably wouldn't do it. So the fact that you're watching is actually creating this content in a weird way. So thanks for joining us today, and please, as ever, drop your experiences, life experiences, your views, thoughts and opinions in the comments. I also have an email, expatinterviews@gmail.com. That's pinned below. If you're interested in sharing your story, no matter where you are in Thailand, I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. That's why I bought the new car, to travel up and down Thailand. And I'm grouping everybody by provinces. I've had a lot of people reach out to me already. If you're interested in sharing your story, contact me at expatinterviews@gmail.com. I can't always get back to everybody, but those that group into my route, my destinations that I'm going to be traveling to and through, I will get back to, and you can share your story on the channel to help other people that are thinking about moving here, or just people that are interested in the stories of other people living in Thailand. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it, and take care.